Sometimes the smallest things, like a vibrant patch of petunias blooming a little too brightly, can unravel the biggest, darkest secrets. And let me tell you, my garden, my beautiful, award-worthy garden, became the unlikely battlefield in a truly wild war against a petty tyrant. My name is Abby, and I'm a landscape architect. I spend my days crafting breathtaking outdoor spaces for clients, turning neglected yards into serene sanctuaries and lively havens. So naturally, my own backyard is not just a garden, it's a living canvas. It's a vibrant symphony of colors and textures, a bustling pollinator's paradise, a true neighborhood gem. Or so I and everyone else on the street thought. Enter Mr. Henderson, our esteemed HOA president, a man whose personal crusade, it seemed, was to enforce an aesthetic of absolute, soul-crushing beige. He preferred uniformity, a bland sameness, to any hint of individuality or natural beauty. One perfectly sunny afternoon, I found a letter in my mailbox. Not just any letter, but an official-looking decree from the HOA bearing Mr. Henderson's crisp signature. I opened it, expecting a notice about a community barbecue, or perhaps a reminder about trash pickup days. What I read next made my jaw drop. The offense? My flowers? Yes, my vibrant, thriving, perfectly healthy flowers. According to Mr. Henderson, they were too exuberant, too non-conforming to the neighborhood's understated charm. And the penalty for this egregious floral rebellion? A casual yet utterly mind-boggling $5,000 fine. $5,000! For a collection of petunias, hydrangeas, and lavender. I honestly thought it was a prank, a bad joke from a neighbor. But when I called the HOA number listed, I got Mr. Henderson himself, and he was very, very serious. He informed me with a self-important sniff that I had until the end of the month to pay, and if I didn't, he would sue me personally for the damage being my colorful, thriving garden. Even if I removed them, he insisted, the damage to the neighborhood's aesthetic integrity was already done. The sheer, unmitigated audacity. As a licensed landscape architect, I know for a fact that my meticulously designed garden actually increased property values. It was a point of pride, a vibrant, welcoming beacon on the street. This wasn't just about flowers anymore. This was about a blatant, ridiculous power trip, and a $5,000 one at that. My lawyer friend Sarah got a frantic call from me that day. I tried to explain the whole ridiculous situation, my voice probably rising several octaves with each word. She initially chuckled, thinking it was just another harmless HOA squabble, something easily resolved with a polite letter. But when I mentioned the exact amount of the fine, her professional demeanor kicked in. Abby, she said, her tone suddenly devoid of humor, that's highly irregular. She offered to look into it, to review the HOA bylaws herself. And that, my friends, is when things went from annoying to absolutely fascinating. We started digging, not just into the official HOA rulebook, which, surprise, had no mention of exuberant flowers or understated charm violations, but into Mr. Henderson himself. Sarah, with her legal eagle skills, pulled up public records, past HOA meeting minutes, and even old neighborhood forms. It turns out my flowers were just the most recent and most expensive. Tip of a very murky iceberg. Sarah found a distinct, disturbing pattern. Mr. Henderson had a history, a rather long one, of inventing rules out of thin air and then fabricating astronomical fines to go with them. There was Mrs. Rodriguez, a sweet elderly lady fined for her unapproved bird bath. Mr. Chen, a meticulous gardener, for his excessively green lawn. Each fine was always substantial, always for vague, subjective violations. And here's the kicker, the real gut punch. None of these so-called fines ever made it to the HOA's official accounts. They simply vanished, right into Mr. Henderson's personal coffers, his very own bank account. This wasn't just abuse of power or a grumpy neighbor. This was outright systematic fraud and embezzlement. My lawyer friend's eyes, usually calm, were now blazing. Abby, she declared, this isn't just a case. This is a criminal enterprise. We meticulously compiled all the evidence. The fabricated notices, the non-existent rules, the official HOA documents that contradicted his claims, the bank statements showing suspicious deposits. We even gathered testimonies from other neighbors who had paid his invented fines. We had a mountain of irrefutable proof. The day we presented our findings to the local authorities, Mr. Henderson was, shall we say, utterly blindsided. He tried his usual bluster, his indignant denials, his empty threats of more lawsuits. But this time it was different. The police officers just looked at him, unimpressed. The evidence was simply overwhelming, meticulously laid out. The look on his face, when he finally realized his little kingdom of invented rules and fraudulent fines had come crashing down, was, I assure you, absolutely priceless. It wasn't long before the news spread like wildfire through our quiet community. Neighbors, who had quietly tolerated his absurd demands for years, started coming forward, sharing their own stories. their own unjust fines, the collective sigh of relief, the palpable sense of liberation was almost deafening. Mr. Henderson was swiftly arrested. He faced serious charges for fraud, embezzlement, and abuse of power. And yes, the man who tried to find my flowers ended up spending time in jail, all because of a ridiculous $5,000 fine for my exuberant flowers. The neighborhood is certainly more colorful now, both literally and figuratively. My garden thrives, unfined, unthreatened, and gloriously free. And there's a new HOA president who actually understands what community and fairness truly mean. So the next time someone tries to tell you your petunias are a problem or your bird bath is an issue, remember Abby and her $5,000 garden. You never know what deeper secrets and injustices might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be uncovered. Thanks for listening to my wild tale. Stay curious and maybe keep an eye on your HOA. See you around.